September 9 at the historic Public Theater in Joe's Pub, the Cockettes make an historic return to New York. They haven't been in New York in 50 years, and they're going to be there. And I'm honored to speak to one of its originators, to speak to Scrumbly, who is more than just one of the originators. He wrote once some of the tunes and now all of the tunes, to the point of where this show basically is the celebration of him, not only as a brilliant artist, but a brilliant composer.
Thank you.
When we talk about the off-Broadway movement, the underground movement, there's always the reason. There's always, we did this because. No one just says, I got up one morning and wanted to do a play. That didn't exist at that point in this particular lifestyle, if you will. Scrumbly, what's your mission? Now you've been doing this now years, and the Cockettes have been doing it since the 70s. What's the mission? What's the mission behind the Cockettes? What's the mission behind you?
Just really what I think of it is just expressing joy at who you are, what you are, with with no shame. In fact, celebrating things that other people might say, don't go there. No, we are who we are. And the more we get repressed, the more we're going to burst through and put it in your face. Because everybody needs to express. All the freaks need to express. We were all freaks, right? I mean, there was a movement in the 60s and 70s called, saying, well, everybody is a freak. And it's true if they acknowledge their own freakdom. So we're saying that, don't judge. Let yourself have that free expression. Don't go by some set of rules that really become entrenched and in retrospect, somewhat arbitrary. Break down the walls of traditional theater. Nothing wrong with it, but it has its place. It's wonderful. But there's also this just burst of pure energy and joy. Like John Waters said, cannonball your ass on that stage, no matter what. It's that kind of courage and that kind of blatancy, like who we are. That's why some people give it sort of the punk ethic.
I think that's great, and it's something I want to grab hold of. You said there was a time that everybody was a freak. Are we still all freaks?
Yeah, if we acknowledge it, we don't try to pretend to be such and such and mold ourselves into a certain frame. Yes, and because we're all, I should describe, a cockette is brave, honest, and cockette doesn't really compete, because you see the wonderfulness in everybody, the fantasticness in everyone, and not so much about the sort of like the pose thing of putting your fellow performers down. That just didn't happen. Non-competitive, celebrating everything about every one of us, bringing out the essence of who you are. And in this time, hello, we really need this. We really need some more. Look, there's something else besides this conventional, sometimes rather tired set of way of looking at things. Here we are trying to shed this light through sometimes the lens of past decades, historically, because we honor and celebrate certain aspects of the past. So here we are, with what we are and who we are, we'll do our best to put that across. And I do have some really talented friends that are helping me do
that. Last question, then I want to hear every name that you wish to share with us. You say that we need that now. We're in a cancel culture world where everybody is worried about every sound we make, every breath we take.
Right.
Uh, do you think everybody needs a dose of the Coquettes just to realize
No,
what freedom is?
I think so, because some of the whole, like that you what's referred to sometimes as the cancel culture, sometimes it's a little too serious.
Sometimes.
Just a little. So yeah, I mean, we have empathy. I have a tremendous empathy for everyone, with everyone. I'm not like, a person who says, well, I don't see how you could care what happens to them. You have no connection. You don't know them. You don't know their friends. Hell, I'm empathetic with people I've never seen, and 10,000 miles away. It's, we've got to put out there our humanity.
Brilliant. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Oh, we should have more freaks like you. Uh, share with us all of these great pioneers. Anyone you want to mention, anyone you want to say, talk about that helped you along this way, along this journey.
Well,
Any
all the original Coquettes, and then of course Sebastian, who was the programmer for the midnight movies, the what they called it, the not the midnight movies. I'm having a brain fart. Anyway, the movies at the Palace Theater, the Nocturnal Dream shows. And Sebastian was the organizer, and he and his partner Stephen Arnold, the great artist from Los Angeles, Stephen Arnold, they really brought us, the ones who brought us there in the first place. And then John Waters has been very helpful all along, and Divine. Sylvester was wonderful. He brought up the talent level immensely in the Coquettes when he was with us for a while. Hibiscus, some of the most creative people, Fayette Hauser, Pam Tent, who I had a child with. Gee, if I start listing names, I'm going to leave some out, but the amazing energy, amazing creativity that happened in the Coquettes for those 2.5 years. And I could name them all, but they're all listed someplace else. Russell Blackwood for helping bring the Coquettes back to San Francisco at Thrill Peddlers. I could go on, but I should have a list, Let's see.
all of these names will be
Peter Minton, who was our first really great accompanist. I didn't have to play anymore. I could get up from the piano, and Peter is fabulous. We're hoping to have him there on September 9th as well, to do either a piano solo or to accompany as yet to be chosen and booked person to do Sylvester's Jaded Lady. So we're going to have that. Meg Stoll, who I worked with in Vice Palace, she was just wonderful, and still is. A friend, David Johansson, who I just met briefly but will never forget, and of course worked with when we opened for him the New York Dolls. Janice Siegel of the Manhattan Transfer, who actually wrote an arrangement for them to do one of my songs. But then they said, no, you're doing too much nostalgia. More about that later. Yeah.
That's
I
great.
could keep going on, but that's probably good for now.
Each one of those names will be uttered in so many different ways, because it's really an historic moment to have you back in New York. It's I want to thank you. It's an honor to speak to you. If I shake my fist at anything, sometimes I shake my fist that I never got a chance to. And while I've met them briefly, I've never got a chance to talk to Joseph Papp or so many others of that era at length. And to speak to you about this time, it's golden. It's golden. I thank you so much for it. We have a new crop coming in, as you see from the poster behind me. We have a new exciting group keeping the good name of Coquette alive at the Public Theater, September 9, in New York City. Scrumbly, thank you so much. I'm not going to take any more of your time. You have been absolutely wonderful, and I can't wait to meet you in the flesh and hear your brilliant work in just about 6 weeks from now. Thank you so much.